Hey, good morning. This one might be a bit off topic, but I really just wanted to address something that, to me, is getting really, 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 really out of hand. I think it's gone way too far. Now, basically, first of all, put it like this, okay? Now, if you are looking at a picture, an image, a video, or whatever of something someone else is eating, has eaten, is about to eat, what someone else is eating, particularly involving steak or a piece of meat. And while you are seeing what they are eating, have eaten, are about to eat, or want to eat, and it stirs up feelings in you to make you want to throw negative comments at them. You want to suggest that they should suffer consequences. They should, all kinds of stuff. Then you might need counseling or some form of help. And I think folks need to start seeking that out. Okay. First, you need to address the problem. Okay. You got to figure out what it is about yourself that makes it to where what someone else is eating, why does that stir up feelings in you where you feel like you got to talk crap about them and how they eat their food? You're not the one eating it. So what difference does it make to you? Now, the funny thing is I've been asking that question for a lot of years. And I've been asking that question to 1,000 different people. Until this day, no one's really been able to answer that question. All I get is all different, versions of mumbo jumbo. I mean, to the point where, lately, one person got creative and was talking about, the reason why, and he threw in stuff about, how restaurants have the right to review and the First Amendment and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, what does that have to do with that person eating that steak that they like? Why does that mean you have to chastise them? Because and they couldn't answer. They just kept throwing more, craziness that was trying to sound like an explanation, but they could never answer the question, why do you care? Now, right, why I'm at this is because, you guys have seen it, I'm sure. All right, everybody, I don't know whether you know or don't know, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows what I'm talking about, or you've seen it on this Facebook thing, where somebody says, this is a steak I'm having, and you got these people talking about it's too rare, and then you got these folks saying, hey, I like mine, well done, or I like it this way. And then you got these other folk for everybody that eats a steak well done, basically you need to be crucified. And and I'm like, really? Listen, all right, Haitians, when I was a kid growing up, we ate steak left, right, and center, all right? Because that was just the way my mother did it, all right? And, I never, in my entire life growing up, used a knife to eat a steak. My mother and Haitians make steak where it's cooked all the way through, and it is soft. It is juicy every time. You stuck your fork into the steak at about the piece you wanted to pull off. And when you pulled your fork away, the piece of meat came away with it. and you put a little bit of rice or whatever on the fork with that piece of meat, and you ate, and that was it. All right. I mean, and I've always loved, the way that she made it. And then what happened when I got old enough to go on my own and go to a steakhouse. This is when I ended up catching a slap in the face, because then I'd order a well done steak, and the wait staff would give me like a real hard time about it, and then I'd be like, "What's it to you? Why are you bugging?" But they'd be like, "Oh, you're ruining such a good piece of meat." And I'm like, "Why do you care? I've paid full price for it. I didn't haggle. All right, I'm paying for it. All right, and I'm eating it. What difference is it to you if I take the thing off my plate, throw it on the floor because I like my steak with all the dirt that's on the floor at the time? Okay, I like to eat my steak with dirt and mud and crap on it. What difference is it to you?" And they could never answer the question. They just storm off upset. And then they'd come back, and then I'd get this burnt piece of whatever. And at first I thought, okay, you know what? They were doing this to me out of spite. And after a couple more, I'd go to a couple other different steakhouses and pretty much get the same result. Someone taught me about having or ordering the steak medium well. Okay. And that's how I ended up learning how to eat the steak medium well. And then I would go with A1 sauce for the flavor and salt and pepper and all that. But I ended up learning to eat steak that way. Okay. So, that's just me, but it's a ton of people out there that think what they have in their head is the only way. And that's not right. Because, some folk out there, for those of you who think your way is the only way, and everybody else who eats it some other way needs to suffer some punishment or, has to end up catching some kind of negative remarks from you because of how you feel about how they're eating their food. Like, look, back home in the States, we got a thing called anger management classes. You might want to sign up. All right. Whatever the version is out here in the UK, counseling and stuff like that. I think it's a sign. Those of you who get that bent out of shape about what somebody else is eating, y'all might want to go and get yourself some help. All right. Because if it's them eating something, it's got nothing to do with you. So why are you so emotionally invested? I don't know, but get some help. Okay. Because people should be allowed to eat whatever they want to eat, however they want to eat it, without catching hell from anybody. Really. All right. That's really the truth. Okay. The folk who want to, sop up all the, the red blood juicy, because you want to taste the flavor of the flesh of this thing while it was still running around and kicking, and that's your idea of flavor, more power to you. Now, for other folk who have different ideas of flavor, more power to you. You know what I mean? And then, how you going to have problems with folk that order a steak like that, but you probably, you can go get a steak bake, which is fully cooked steak and that, and all the other bits of steak, braised this and that and everything else, and that's all right? I mean, come on. I grew up with stories of people who were homeless, and I heard about, folk who ate cat and dog food, and I used to think, wow, I hope that never becomes, I hope I never end up in a situation where I have to choose, if I'm going to try to eat this and stuff like that. I never thought, oh, they need to suffer some kind of consequences because this is what they were eating. I'll tell you guys a secret, okay? When it comes to when it comes to burgers, all right, the British Standard Quarter Pounder, I can't do it. I just can't eat them. I can't. I take one bite and I can't do it. It's something about a not 100%, like 71% beef patty. I can't do it. I grew up 100% beef patties my whole life, so I tried, but I just can't do it. But I know that there's tons and tons of folk, that's the burger they want. That's the one they want. When they come, no, they don't want a Yankee. They want the Quarter Pounder. That's what they grew up on. That's what they want. So as a result, that's why we sell it. We still sell them. We cater to those folks. We make them half pounders, quarter pound. We stack as many. Because, man, I'm not eating it. But if you come to me because this is what you want to eat and this is how you want to eat it, I'm going to hook you up with the way you want to eat your food, man. I mean, yeah. So what's the problem with the rest of those folks out there who, feel like you got to impose your will upon other people when it comes to their food? Whatever it is that makes you feel like you got to impose your will upon others about their food, whatever that is, it's the kind of thing I think you might need to seek counseling for. And maybe, at least, maybe if not the world would be a better place, at least social media might end up being a little bit, less abrasive. Just a little bit. Let's put things in perspective, people. Again, if you're not eating it, what difference does it make to you? If you can really answer that question, it might be time to get help. All right. And with that, have a great day.